Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dhinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitamena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminati Namne Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayani Gaur Katha Dham Dhaya Nagar Grahantahani Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharne Nirvisesh Sunavadi Paschat Reshtarne Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 9 Text 12. Am I correct? 12, right?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Tena sparanti atitaram priyam ishamartyam ye chanvada sutta suhrit griha vittadhara ye tva abjanabha bhavadiya padaravinda saugandhya lupta hridayeshu krita prasanga. O Lord, who have a lotus navel, if a person happens to associate with a devotee whose heart always hankers after your lotus feet, seeking always their fragrance, he is never attached to the material body or in a bodily relationship to offspring, friends, home, wealth, and wife, which are very, very dear to materialistic persons. Indeed, he does not care for them. Purport: a special advantage in devotional service is that devotees not only enjoy the transcendental pastimes of the Lord by hearing and chanting and glorifying them, but also are not very much attached to their bodies, unlike the yogis who are too attached to the body and who think that by performing bodily gymnastic exercises, they will advance in spiritual consciousness. Yogis are generally not very much interested in devotional service. They want to regulate the breathing process. This is simply a bodily concern. Here, Dhruva Maharaja plainly says that a devotee has no more bodily interest. He knows that he is not the body from the very beginning. Therefore, without wasting time in bodily exercises, a devotee searches out a pure devotee and simply, by his association, becomes more advanced in spiritual consciousness than any yogi. Because the devotee knows that he is not the body, he is never affected by bodily happiness or distress. He is not interested in bodily relationships with wife, children, home, bank balance, etc., or in the distress and happiness which come from these things. This is the special advantage of being a devotee. This status of life is possible only when a person is interested in associating with a pure devotee who always enjoys the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is Dhruva Maharaja's great realization at the age of 5. And so he's already not interested in any of these things. So what does it mean not to be attached? The attachment, what we think that I'm so attached to my family, I love them. That is not attachment to them. A real attachment to them will come when we become devotees of Krishna then we love their real selves, their souls, and we see them as connected to Krishna, and we can truly love them and then not have any expectations also. They, whatever they do, we think, okay, whatever it is, Krishna has sent them to me, and I love them, irrespective of no material conditions. Whereas when we are attached to our body, and because of that, we become attached to people connected with our body, we may think ourselves that I really love them and all that, but it's very, very conditional. Conditioned to whether it gives pleasure to your body or sense or mind. That is what you decide whether otherwise the attachment increases or decreases based on that. Because we are identifying with the body. Whatever gives pleasure to the body and mind, we think that is love. But that is just selfish lust. That is what it is. But on the other hand, and we think that if I love Krishna, my love for others might reduce. But actually, only love for your bodily attached body diminishes. The more we serve Krishna, the less we are obsessed with our body and mind, and it's how it should be so pleased and happy all the time. There's so much attached to mental and physical happiness. And so, because of that, whatever, and then even our relationships are based on what gives pleasure to my body or mind. If it doesn't give us pleasure, then we become so distressed. So, how can, on the other hand, and then we hate them for giving us distress. We don't no longer like them, or we may disconnect ourselves from them. But when we love the soul, I mean, because of understanding I am also soul, and then we see them also as souls, and because we love Krishna, and then we see them also that they are also eternal beings, and they have their, I mean, eternal life, and they have their mission in this world. That is to go back home, back to Godhead. That is actually, this whole thing will come out very well in the pastime of, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day is ecstatically chanting Hare Krishna Kirtan in Srivas Prabhu's house. And then suddenly Srivas Prabhu hears some loud wailing from inside the house. So he goes inside and sees that his son, he was just about 9 years or something, he's dead. And all the ladies are sitting and wailing over there. So then he tells the ladies, see, this boy, I mean, he liked it. Of course, he loved his family and all that. Srivas was a very nice family person. He maintained all of them. And he was very loving to them. But now, when it came to, seeing him in the, I mean, okay, he told those ladies, see, my son has left his body listening to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Kirtan, who's dancing and singing in my own courtyard. What can be more auspicious for him than this? In fact, I myself desire that I will leave my body like this. So don't sit and lament. I know that you're interested in having, you are very distressed by the relationship. I mean, that he has left the body, but you keep it within your heart. Don't wail like this, because it will create disturbance for Lord Chaitanya's Kirtan. And if I don't want anything to disturb Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy in the Kirtan. If you do that, if you continue to wail, then I'm going to jump inside the Ganga. I said, jump into the Ganga. And and all the ladies felt very scared because Srivas Prabhu is capable of doing that. So they all checked themselves and kept quiet. They were afraid. And then Srivas Thakur went back and he continued singing and dancing with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then after some time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped the kirtan. Then he said, I mean, then something has happened in this house, I think. There is something gloomy, I feel. What happened? So Srivas didn't say anything. And then the devotees told, my lord, Srivas Thakura's son has left his body because of some illness. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Srivas, Srivas, why didn't you tell me that this thing has happened? Then he said, no, my lord, I didn't want to disturb your kirtan. So that is why I didn't want to tell you. Then Lord Chaitanya said, my God, How will I get a devotee like this? I don't want to leave this devotee and never go, because he was planning his sannyas. And then he thought, how can I leave a devotee like Srivas, who is thinking of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's happiness more than even his sorrow because of losing his son. I mean, definitely he would have felt great sorrow. It is natural. But his love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so much that that is what, I mean, he was more concerned about that. Naturally, the Lord is there. Our service to him, our dedication to him is the topmost thing. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went inside and then he spoke to the boy. Because all of them, the ladies especially, were seeing the boy from a bodily perception that he is my son, or he is my nephew or grandson, or whatever. They were all sitting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke directly to that boy, I mean, the dead body, and he said, why have you left and gone? Why did you leave Srivas, your father and mother, and why did you go? And then he said, and so the boy started answering. He said that, see, what is this? This is nobody. I mean, I've had so many fathers and mothers in various lives, and it is nobody belongs to anybody. As long as your karma is there, you stay here. Once your karma is over, you leave. So now, so that is the thing. Now my time is, and it's all orchestrated by you. So why should I stay? I mean, that is why I've left. So then, when this boy spoke like this, and he said, I want to go back. I want to go back to Godhead. I don't want to come back in this body. Then all the ladies, they heard that. Then, then they realized that actually he's a soul. And he's got this eternal relationship with Krishna, which is the reality. And so they all felt very satisfied. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned to Srivas Thakur and he told, see, Srivas, me and Nityananda are your two sons now. So don't feel bad, okay, about your son's loss. So this was the kind of, loving exchange, what the relationship between Krishna and us and all the relatives. Krishna is sensitive to that. It's not that just, if you're not like Mayavadis or Gyanis, say everything is Maya, Maya, Maya. Hey, you're not this. I'm going away to the Himalayas. I don't care for my family. Not like that. Vaishnavism is you are affectionate to them because Krishna has created that family, but you're aware. My first my reality, the truth is that I'm first connected to, I'm an eternal soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And so are all the family members. That is the primary thing. That is the primary thing. If we are always thinking about that, we will not be disturbed by temporary ups and downs, even in family relationships. Because we'll think, okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, ultimately, we all have to go leave this body and go back to God. And whatever we do is only for that purpose, to go back to Godhead. That is how people in Vedic times, even up to 50s, 60 years ago, people were so tolerant. There was no question of separation or leaving the house or divorce. Not at all. They just accepted sometimes because of our material natures. Swabhava, what can we do? We're born in some modes. We may behave in different ways. There might be some misunderstandings between parents and children, husband and wife, grandparents and parents and children. So many things, aunts, uncles. So many things are there in a family because we are in the material world. But still, because the common platform was to, everybody was aware that this life is so temporary and we're all eternal souls. And the ultimate goal is to go back to God. And that in a Varnashrama based society, everybody is aware. 50 years ago, also, I found people were all very much thinking like that, very, they're accepting things and being a little, tolerant because of that, because of a higher purpose in life. And that comes through God consciousness. And so Dhruva Maharaja, that's what he says, that how do we develop once again this kind of mentality? When in the society, most of the people, especially the elders and the priests and the teachers and all the patriarchs or the family heads, they're all in this consciousness, then automatically all their followers will also develop this kind of attitude through association. Only through association we can hear. Now we are associating with all worldly people who think only now, even if I'm going to live for the next 30 minutes, let me enjoy and die. Let me do whatever I want physically, mentally, whatever sense gratification, then I will die. So when you are associating with such foolish people, and we also get affected and we think, oh, maybe I'm thinking too much of soul all the time. Maybe I have to give more importance to body, and they will manage to, they will try to convince us, you are always talking of soul. Where is that soul? It's all imaginary. You try to enjoy and live your life like all of us, and then we get bewildered. Oh, maybe, I'm also missing out something. So that is because of lack of association. But we associate only with devotees. You can see when you're counseling, there's a couple who, I mean, you can see that their parents and relatives as a source of Maya, telling them all wrong things and not even helping them, simply putting them into trouble. They're very selfish. They're thinking about their own things. And when we tell them, please think in spiritual terms, they will also follow. Why are you so worried? They know they're doing wrong and still out of attachment. Oh, I cannot. I'm so emotional. I feel bad for them. If you're feeling bad that they're going in the wrong way, you become strong. Then they will also, because after all, they're also attached to you. So we should use that attachment to guide them spiritually, not fall in the ditch along with them. I love you so much. You fall in the ditch, I'll fall in the ditch along with you because I love you. What kind of love is that? It's harming yourself and them, and it's not any love, it's just foolishness. It's because of lack of self control, lack of control of the mind and body. And we think, oh, it's all because I'm so loving and attached. It's not at all true. We are just kidding ourselves, thinking, oh, I'm very warm, I'm such a family oriented person, I love everyone. Not true. Please don't fancy yourself that you're a great Mahatma in family life. You are just attached to your body and senses. So because you cannot control your senses, you just want to follow them, because you cannot think spiritually. And that is why we have to become spiritually strong, so that we can guide. If you really love your family members, become spiritually strong so that you can guide them also. If they're not ready to be guided, okay, no problem. We can pray for them. Sometime later, they will come, definitely. Krishna uses his devotees to bless the family members also. Not everyone, I mean, that is also association. Krishna brings us together as family members also for association, not only for, we may be, I mean, our program is we want sense gratification. Oh, we want to kichiku. You got my nose and you are so beautiful like me. And let us go and have a nice holiday. Let us do this. I will joke with you. And we want that. So he's also providing that. But Krishna's purpose is something different. He wants that elderly or the responsible family members are there to guide the younger family members, or whoever is more advanced should guide the others so that they can go back to Godhead. That is only Krishna's purpose. That is why he puts Prahlad Maharaj among the Asura family. Go. Otherwise, why should he put Prahlad in the Asura family? Because the Asuras, they will not listen to people outside their family. My own blood, if they open their mouth and say something, I might listen. Or if they do some good things, I might follow. But so for them, that is the only way. So devotees have to take the austerity of being a family member in a Asura family also. But even then, even if they're all materialistic, we should become. Prahlad Maharaj was so strong. He never gave up. He actually was loved his father so much, because he told his Narsimadev, I don't want anything for myself, Lord. Please do something for my father. Please, liberate him. He was always very offensive. He was only concerned about his father. So he had love and affection. He was a normal child who was, affectionate to both his father and mother. But over and above that, he had his complete surrender to Lord Narsimadev. And he told the truth. Hiranyakashipu said, just say that I'm God and I will. He was very nice to him. He loved Prahlad because he thought he's part of my body, expansion. But the only thing which put him off was he spoke the truth about Krishna. He is the supreme, not you. So, because of that, maybe in his lifetime, Hiranyakashipu did not change. But because of Prahlad, Narsimadev personally came and liberated Hiranyakashipu. So somehow Krishna will bless our family members if we are strong. And this thing, when he does, that is up to Krishna. We don't know. Prabhupada's wife, she didn't want to cooperate with him to the extent that he wanted. He just did his duty, and then when the Guru said go, he went. But it's really amazing that at the time of her death, she thought of Krishna. She asked about Krishna and left her body. That's only because of being Prabhupada's wife. Krishna would have given her that mercy. So this is the special advantage of being a devotee. The status of life. He's not interested in bodily relationships. That means it says, it's not saying he's not interested in having relationships with his family. It is saying that, Prabhupada is saying that he's not interested in bodily relationships with wife, children, home, bank balance, etc. You can have a spiritual relationship in the sense, spiritual means actual relationship because the soul is the actual person. So you can love them. The Pandavas were always together, but Krishna in the center, and they were not attached to their body, but they were always close to each other. So that is real love. So a devotee is not interested in bodily relationships, but he is interested to have loving relationships on the spiritual platform. If all family members do devotional service, that's very fantastic. You can really be, the attachment can be used for serving Krishna and making spiritual progress. Tiryan Nagadvija Sarishripa Deva Daitya Martyadibhi Parichitam Sad Asad Vishesham Rupam Stavishtam Ajate Mahad Adi Anekam Natah Param Parama Vedmi Nayatra Vada. My dear Lord, O Supreme Unborn, I know that the different varieties of living entities, such as animals, trees, birds, reptiles, demigods, and human beings, are spread throughout the universe, which is caused by the total material energy. And I know that they are sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest, but I have never experienced the supreme form I behold as I see you now. Now, all kinds of methods of theorizing have come to an end. But in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He has spread Himself throughout the universe. But although everything is resting upon Him, He is aloof. The same concept is expressed here by Dhruva Maharaja. He states that before seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, he had experienced only the varieties of material forms, which are counted at 8,400,000 or 84 lakh species of aquatics, birds, beasts, etc. The fact is that unless one engages in the devotional service of the Lord, it is impossible to understand the ultimate form of the Lord. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Factual understanding of the absolute truth, who is the supreme person, cannot be obtained by any process other than devotional service. Dhruva Maharaja here compares his previous state of understanding with the perfection of understanding in the presence of the Supreme Lord. Or Dhruva Maharaja Dhruva Maharaja here compares his previous state of understanding with the perfection of understanding in the presence of the Supreme Lord. The position of a living entity is to render service. Unless he comes to the stage of appreciating the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he engages in the service of the various forms of trees, reptiles, animals, men, demigods, etc. One can experience that one man engages in the service of a dog, another serves plants and creepers, another the demigods, and another humanity or his boss in the office. But no one is engaged in the service of Krishna. Aside from common men, even men who are elevated in terms of spiritual understanding are at the utmost engaged in the service of Virat Rupa, or unable to understand the ultimate form of the Lord. They worship voidism by meditation. Dhruv Maharaj, however, had been blessed by the Supreme Lord. When the Lord touched his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead, real knowledge was revealed from within, and Dhruva could understand the Lord's transcendental form. Dhruva Maharaja here admits that not only was he ignorant, but by years he was only a child. It would not have been possible for an ignorant child to appreciate the supreme form of the Lord had he not been blessed by the Lord, who had touched his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead. So this is what he wanted. He wanted to meet Krishna, so determined. And he asked his mother, where will I find God? And his mother said, I don't know. People go to the forest to find God. So you go there. And he was totally ignorant. He didn't know anything where to find God. He looked at the stone. Is that God? I mean, when he went to the forest, he said, where is God? Is it the stone or the tree or the animal? I mean, he didn't know where is God. And when he was seeking like that, that is when Narada Muni appeared in front of him, because he was really so curious to meet God and tell him about his distress. And that's what he was saying, that all this while, my only experience was what? All these forms which I saw in the material world, different bodies, trees and aquatics and birds and human beings and demigods, that's all, which is all caused by the material energy, the different bodily forms. And I know that they are sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest. So in the unmanifested stage, we have like ghosts. We are there, I mean, ghostly beings. And then when at the end of creation, then everyone is absorbed into the body of Mahavishnu. So all that he knew, but I have never experienced the supreme form I behold as I see you now. Now all kinds of methods of theorizing have come to an end. People normally try to figure out who is the Supreme Lord. We are very fortunate. Everything is given. We directed to read only Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Don't sit and read other books. Before we came across this through ISKCON, we must have been reading so many other books. If you are inclined to know the truth, then so many literatures are available and totally confused. And so we keep theorizing. Maybe different people say God is truth, God is love, so many things. And then is the ahimsa, or so many other things are there. People theorize, or God, you can find, I mean, liberation is when you become God. So many such theories, theorizing. Once you actually see Krishna, then you realize, oh, what all I was thinking about Krishna, and he's right here. So that is Dhruv Maharaja's experience. Factual understanding of the absolute truth, who's the supreme person, cannot be obtained by any other process than devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. And so he is comparing what I was before and now. Imagine, I'm seeing you, Krishna, all the time. I was just talking. We're just talking and talking. Krishna must be like this. He looks like this. It's all a part of our mind. In the mind, we are imagining, or we see the pictures, we see the deities, and then we think, yeah, Krishna will be looking like this. But the reality must be completely different, because everyone says that whoever sees the Lord, then they are totally, oh, this is indescribable. And that is why they say, okay, his body is the color of the sky or the mega sham, and then his something they try to say, because you cannot describe how he looks. And they want to tell us, it's similar to the story of the Britisher. He went back after being in this, you know, uh, he went back after this duty, working in India during the colonial times. And when he went there, then all he was telling them, they all wanted to know what is India like and everything, all the exotic things. So then he's saying, oh, mango, such a sweet, such wonderful taste it is. You can't even imagine. Really, what? Please tell us. Wow. I mean, compare it to something so that we can understand what it tastes like. Then he thought, okay, get some honey. He got, he brought a honey, he dipped his beard and said, now just try to squeeze it out like that. So what is that? Okay, we might think, okay, mango means it's like honey. But it's hardly like that when you actually eat mango. Oh, rare. I mean, I thought it was honey, but actually it's something much, much more. So like that, when we see Krishna, we're going to be so very, I mean, he, um, so one can experience that one man engages in the, yeah. So we need Krishna's blessing, and then we can see him. And so all the work that we do has to be in the mood of service to Krishna. And that is when we can be free from all kinds of disturbance in the mind. So many anxieties, insecurities, fears, and envy and competition, horrible things which unnecessarily affect the mind. But only if we just come to the platform of doing only everything for Krishna's pleasure. I'm a servant. I don't mind. I don't care for anything else. I have to please Krishna. He should be happy. Then I'm okay. So this kind of love people feel for their children and all mothers. They live, sometimes you see, lady is living only for the sake of bringing up a child. Everything is to make the child very happy, and how much of selflessness she feels. So it's possible to feel for Krishna also. It is, I mean, it's natural, but only because of little ignorance, a connection with the body. And so we're not able to identify with the soul and think that Krishna is real and I can love him and do everything for him only. And then that will take care of everything else. I'll be satisfied. Whatever my duties are, everything Krishna will take care. He'll make me do. It's not that. So being Krishna conscious doesn't make you irresponsible materially. In fact, it makes you more responsible, most responsible. Like Srila Prabhupada, the family members didn't understand how great he was, but he was actually very concerned about them. Imagine, he even didn't go immediately. Guru came in his dream and said, go now take sannyas. And he did take sannyas. He was thinking of his family. Oh, I have to settle them. They've not got married. They've not got a job. So he was really concerned, and not out of attachment. It's for Prabhupada, it's not that, oh, he wanted to enjoy his life, and so he thought, I have to be with my family. He was really thinking of it as service to Krishna. And so he felt, I've not done this service properly. Just like Guru Maharaj, even though he's suffering so much, he wants to stay back in this material world. Why? Because he feels he has not done his service fully. Whatever Prabhupada gave him, he has to fulfill that. So how much a devotee wants to, I mean, so sincere, so responsible. So that is why we should not think that, now I've become a devotee, so everything else is Maya. I don't need to do material duties. Prabhupada is a wonderful example of how we should be so very dedicated even to doing our material duties properly, because it's a duty given by Krishna. But Prabhupada just, as a grihastha, he was actually, we are all doing much more in terms of, because we are a part of ISKCON. He was like, because he was doing business, he had 4 children and family, he had to earn money. He was doing his business very, very diligently. But what is this consciousness? We are nothing. We think we are doing more than Prabhupada. But our consciousness is nothing compared to Prabhupada, because we're not doing spiritual life also properly, material life also properly, because our consciousness is not correct. Prabhupada, even his material life was for pleasing Krishna. The duties, everything he did so perfectly. When he was a grihastha, he did. And whatever spiritual life, also he did. But then he had this balance, because his only aim was to satisfy Krishna, not himself. Or he didn't compare himself with anyone. Krishna wants me to do that, I will do that. Even though his guru had told him, you go and preach Krishna consciousness to the West. Oh, what a great responsibility he put in his head. But he never allowed that. And, that is the real thing. Real instruction, duty in his life was that. But he did not make his material duty, he did not ignore it, or he did not sort of, you know, belittle that, or he did that also properly. Because so for all services for Krishna are equally important. And a devotee is never negligent. Is it time? Kalpanta etad akilam jatarena grihnan shete puman swadruk ananta sakastadanke yannabi sinduruha kanchana loka padma garbhe dhyuman bhagavate pranatosmi tasmai. My dear Lord, at the end of each millennium, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, dissolves everything manifested within the universe into his belly. He lies down on the lap of Seshanaga, and from his navel sprouts a golden lotus flower on a stem. And on that lotus, Lord Brahma is created. I can understand that you are the same Supreme Godhead. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Actually, Dhruva Maharaja, the form of the Lord he saw was Prishni Garbha. Prishni and Sutapa, they did tapasya, and in that life they got Prishni Garbha. So that form of Lord, Narayana form, is whom he saw. Dhruva Maharaja's understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete. In the Vedas, it is said, Yasmin Vijñate Sarvam Evam Vijñatam Bhavati. Knowledge received through the transcendental, costless mercy of the Lord is so perfect that by that knowledge, the devotee becomes acquainted with all the different manifestations of the Lord. Lord Kshirodakshai Vishnu was present before Dhruva Maharaja, who could also understand the Lord's 2 other forms, namely Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Karanodakshai Vishnu or Mahavishnu. Regarding Mahavishnu, it is stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.48. Yasyai kanishvasita kalamatavalambyya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. At the end of each and every millennium, when all the material worlds are dissolved, everything enters the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who's lying on the lap of Seshanaga, another form of the Lord. Those who are not devotees cannot understand the different forms of Vishnu and their positions in regard to creation. Sometimes the atheists argue, how can a flower stem sprout from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. They consider all the statements of the Shastras to be stories as a result of their inexperience in the absolute truth and their reluctance to accept authority. They become more and more atheistic. They cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead. But a devotee like Dhruv Maharaja, by the grace of the Lord, knows all the manifestations of the Lord and their different positions. It is said that anyone who has even a little of the Lord's grace can understand his glories. Others may go on speculating on the absolute truth, but they will always be unable to understand the Lord. In other words, unless one comes in contact with a devotee, it is not possible to understand the transcendental form or the spiritual world and its transcendental activities. So he is glorifying the Lord, and not only is he seeing the Paramatma, the who appeared from his heart. He left his heart and he appeared in front of him, and then he could also understand about Garbhu. Now he is talking about Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from whose navel the lotus stem comes and how Brahma appears. And the previous verse he talked about Mahavishnu, how everything enters into his belly. So so that's what Prabhupada is saying, that if you know Krishna, you know everything. You can understand everything. Yasmin vijnate sarvam evam. Yasmin vijnate sarvam evam vijnatam bhavati. Knowing, knowledge receiving, yasmin vijnate. Knowing about whom, sarvam evam vijnatam. You already know about everything else, everyone. So, it is not easy to understand the forms of the Lord. It seems in the beginning very complicated. Oh, Lord, we thought there is one God, and that's what common people think. Other religions and all that. And they don't know what is this Hinduism. They have so many gods. So they cannot understand. He doesn't even show his form to the other religions. They don't even know how he looks like. And they think there is only one God. Christianity has got at least three things. They say there is God, there is the Son, and there is the Holy Ghost. Three things. And beyond that, there's nothing. Then what are we, all of us? Just, okay, I don't know. We are also, because if they say that Jesus is the Son of God, we're also sons of God. But they say, no, there is only three: God, Son of God, and Holy Ghost. So, like, very less is Krishna is reveals very, 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 very less in the other religions. It's like a small, tiny book you can compare. We have the full encyclopedia volumes. And suppose all that is put inside one tiny book. That is how much they know about God. And to know about God, even what we know, is very, 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 very less. And Krishna will keep on revealing more and more as we do more devotional service. Even if you come to the point of seeing him face to face and understand his wonderful qualities and his leelas, even if you can see them, still so much much more to know. Krishna is so unlimited. And that is why it's so fascinating. For an entire eternity, we are mesmerized by Krishna. We can be always meditating on Krishna because it's so unlimited. There is so much more. We can never say, I know all about Krishna now. Tell me something else. There will never come a time like that. So that is why it's so wonderful. And Dhruv Maharaja has got it all because of the mercy of Narad Muni and his mother, and also the Lord himself, who touched his head with a conch shell. That is all we need, his mercy, and then everything will reveal itself. You don't need to study so much. That is why devotional service is so important in our, for making spiritual progress. We have to read because it gives us more knowledge about Krishna. But that knowledge cannot be internalized unless we do devotional service. Guru Maharaj says that, when you eat food, you need digestive power to absorb that food into your body. Similarly, if you do more exercises so that your body gets, or your stomach gets, the power to digest food. In the same way, he says that if you simply keep on reading, you cannot digest it. You cannot internalize it or realize it. We have to do devotional service and be in the mood of rendering service to the Lord. Then Krishna reveals. Just you read, but then we need his blessings. Okay, then we understand. Oh yes, there's so much. Krishna's. What we know is very, very, very less. How much deeper and deeper and deeper we should go in Krishna consciousness to understand Krishna. There is so much. So then that mood and feeling of reverence to the Lord, of humility before him, that we're nothing. And that is what Krishna is very pleased. And then he reveals more. Up to the point, just imagine, Prabhupada used to ask his devotees, did you see Krishna? So Prabhupada expects that one day we will also see Krishna. So we can look forward. If Dhruv Maharaja saw, and then we just need to be determined, and we need to have a desire. That's the only thing in our heart. We need to have the desire that I want to serve Krishna. I want to do everything so that it's in a mood of service, not for my sense gratification, but everything for his pleasure. And that service attitude, we should desire to serve him and desire to see him. Prabhupada said, that even if he's a murderer or criminal, somehow if he developed a desire to see Krishna, then he will see Krishna. So that is what it is. So even we are so unqualified, but still, I want to see Krishna. If you feel that, definitely you will see him. That's all. We must have a strong desire and determination and desire to serve him. That's very important. So that's why when we are chanting, we have to cry. The heart should be, Krishna, right now I have no desire to serve you. Please make me serve you. Gurudev, please, you're the only one who can save me. So we cry out, and then, but not too much conversation. We cry, but actually we should be listening to the holy name. That's very important. Otherwise, the mind will take over. And in all this, we start telling too many things, then the mind will start thinking more, oh, I'm so fallen. See, that day this happened. Somebody told me that. It will go somewhere else. So the heart should be yearning. Please, Krishna, I want to serve you, even though I'm unable to serve you. But please let me serve you. That's all. And then you just hear the holy name very, very sincerely. Then Krishna will keep pulling us every day a little more, a little more. And once he is taking care of our spiritual life, of our material, everything, then we can relax. Only then we can relax and be happy that I've got someone who's taking care of me. I just need to think about him. That's all. At any situation, at any time, the only thing we need to do is think about Krishna. Then we can be guaranteed everything will work out well. Even there are a lot of so many unpredictable dangers. Who knows what will happen? Even in the most difficult situations, we can easily cross that if and only if we are meditating on the Lord. And for that, we have to really chant sincerely, listening to the holy name, so that throughout the day, I don't forget to remember you, Krishna. I should not get so involved in all my material activities, completely forgotten. Next morning, when I see the bead bag, only, oh yeah, Krishna is there. Otherwise, I'm only there. I'm the center. So we have to come out of that and keep reminding ourselves, oh Krishna, please. We can pray to him in between. Vandanam is very important in between while doing services, so many things. We should pray to Krishna, or we get stuck with something. Krishna, please tell me what I should do. Please guide me. That's very nice, because then we are again rejuvenated. Just the thought of Krishna will keep us rejuvenated throughout the day. And then we'll not be afraid of anything in this world. That is the only surety of, security in this world, especially in Kali Yuga. Horrible. We don't know, anything can happen at any time. It's so insecure. But if we remember Krishna's lotus feet all the time, we can relax. Yes, everything will be fine. No problem. Like Prabhupada, the bombs were falling on Kolkata during the wartime. Japanese, they were throwing bombs. And of course, Prabhupada went along with his family under the underground shelter and all that. But still, it was so terrifying. He could see the bombs falling. It can fall also on his house. But he said, these are all Krishna. He saw that energy of Krishna. Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake. So if it is Krishna, even if it falls on me, I'll be very happy because it is Krishna. That was his realization. So we can also, by thinking about Krishna, meditating upon him, then we can overcome all our anxieties. If we start thinking of material things, we only feel anxieties. What will happen? Will this happen? Won't this happen? And when will it happen? All kinds of things. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Mataji, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble sense.
Please accept my humble obeisances. Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, the soul which is in all the bodies, whether it's animal like elephant, dog, ant, or any reptile, virus, bacteria, or any bird, qualitatively and quantitatively is same, right? Because it's part and parcel of the Krishna.
Yeah, all souls are same.
Okay, Mataji.
Only the body is different according to the karma.
Okay, Mataji.
Right now, you might think, oh, Devata, so great. We'll naturally think we are so fallen. But we can also elevate ourselves to that level.
So if you focus on the soul, which is on the all like bodies, regardless of their qualities or positions or whatever it is, then we start loving them, because then
Yes.
we just focus on that body is carrying that soul, and we should love that soul.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. We go to prayers now. Yes, we pray for Solnas Jeptak Swami, our beloved Guru Maharaj, so that he becomes completely okay, free from all complete